I got the new gaskets. So we have the intake and exhaust set. Of course, I don't need that. And I'll have to get a second one of these when I do it. Got the distributor gasket. Got the valve stem seals. Got, what is this? Oil pan gasket, push rod cover gasket, valve cover gasket. And this is the pilot bushing for a Power Glide motor to use a stick shift. So I need to check Rock Auto. All this came from Rock Auto. It was like, I think, $60 including shipping for everything. This is not the bronze bushing or whatever it is, the oil light bushing. This is actually steel. It's magnetic. So I'm going to see the size difference. I might just buy the oil light bushing and have it turned down at the machine shop down the road from me, because I really don't want a steel pilot bushing. And they're like $3 a piece or something like that. And I think he charges me $10 to turn it down. I had to do it when I put the 4-liter motor in my CJ. So yeah, that's where we're at now. So we're going to be able to start putting things back together. I'm still iffy on that rear main seal. It's a 55 block, mid-year 55. So if anyone knows if I can use the rubber rear main instead of a rope seal, let me know. And I'm going to switch it. If I have to stick with a rope rear main seal, I'm not fooling with it. Alright, we've got the oil pan on. These side bolts right here are supposed to be 6 to 7 foot-pounds, and these are 12 to 14. But my torque wrench stops at 25. So I just kind of put them on and went around it. I think I went around 4 times and did a quarter of a turn. After it was snugged down, each bolt, I did a quarter of a turn and just went around 3 times, and then the 4th time I just tightened them all up, and they moved a little bit, but I didn't try and force it. And I was holding it by the head of the ratchet when I was doing it, so I could kind of not put too much torque on it. So I think what I'm going to do is clean up this pan. Maybe not. No, I'm just going to leave it actually. I have to still take the rocker arms apart, or the assembly. Got to make sure all the push rods are straight. And I'm going to try and get the lifters out. This one dropped right out, but I can't get it out because of this. But I'm going to take this off and make sure it's cleaned out anyway. So that's going to come out. But look at the rest of them. The rest of them are kind of, they're stuck. They don't want to move. They move freely, but they don't want to drop out of there. So I guess they're, I don't know. I want to get them apart and clean them all and make sure they're all clean. But if I can't get them out, I can't take them apart. But maybe I'll just pull this one apart and see what it looks like inside. And this will probably be a good indication for what the rest of them look like inside. Got to get this gasket off. But of course I'm not doing the side cover until everything else is done, so I'm not worried about that. But now I can flip it back over anyway and work on everything in the right direction. I think this balancer has to come off, so I'll be drilling a new hole in the crank snout so I can use a balancer puller to put it back on. And I'll probably replace the seal for the balancer. Still undecided about the water pump, if I'm using the plate and the old style water pump, or if I'm just sticking with the new style and getting an electric fan. I haven't decided yet. There's a bell housing from a truck. Got a line on a 3-speed overdrive out of a 56 Chevy for $200. But he doesn't know if the overdrive works, and honestly I have no idea how to hook it up in the car. But I'm doing some research on it now so I can figure it all out. This time I'm sticking with the 4-bolt valve cover, because the 2-bolt valve cover is leaking like crazy. So if anybody knows of a finned 4-bolt valve cover, let me know, because I really want the fin valve cover, but I want it to not leak. You know what I mean? Or once I know this is all good, I can put right stuff sealing or some RTV or something around the valve cover gasket and seal it up. Since it's hydraulic lifters, I never need to open it anyway. Still got the 51-235 for sale. Runs perfectly. Might need a rear main. It was leaking, but I couldn't tell from where. But no blow-by, no smoke, no nothing. And that's it for now. To come, side cover, push rods, rocker arms, water pump maybe, balancer. If I'm switching the old water pump, I got to put the truck balancer on because the car balancer won't work. It's too big and it'll spin the fan too fast or too slow or something like that. I can't remember what it would do. But yeah, so that's where we're at right now. So I went to pull the balancer off this motor because, of course, with the water pump adapter, you got to use the truck water pump. And I couldn't believe how easily this thing started coming off. So these are 3/8 bolts. I just picked those up. But I got a belt to hold it because I got the motor at top dead center. But the motor that's in the car now, it took me like 2 weeks to get it off. I came out, gave it a crank every day or so. This bad boy's coming right off of here. And I'm going to drill the crank for a bolt, which will also allow me to use a harmonic balancer installer instead of trying to press fit it like the factory did. And when it comes off, it's heavy. And that's it. Now I can get my drill bit in here. There's already actually a pilot hole. So you can get the drill bit in there. Probably can't see the pilot hole. Well, you kind of can. Let me see if I can find something to scrape it out. I don't think I have anything. But anyway, so you just get the bit in there and it works out to a 29/64 is a 1/2 inch drill bit, or a 1/2 inch bolt, which is what I used on this other motor. And of course the installer slips right on and you just boop, crank it right in. But I think I might switch this seal too, since I just popped the balancer off. Wouldn't make any sense to use the same seal. I mean, it wasn't leaking. There's some grime on the motor, but no like wetness or anything, or no buildup. So I don't know. But yeah, so that's it. Half of a step closer. All right, next up is trying to, well, I'm going to take this line off and just make sure it's okay. Make sure it's cleaned out and all that. I guess I'll look at this lifter while it's out. I should take it home and take it apart. Maybe I will. Yeah, I think I will. Just to see how it's looking inside. That'll be a good indication of how everything else looks inside. Because so far this thing's spotless. Alright, so let me go ahead and figure out what size wrench this is. Alright, 7/16, 7/16, 7/16, and probably 3/8. But of course the 3/8 is in my Jeep because I just did the brakes on it, bled the brakes on it. So I'm going to try and use a metric wrench. It's a little loose, but hopefully it turned both of these. So hopefully once I'm holding that one still, it'll be alright. We'll find out here in a sec. Alright, so the 10mm did it. Let's see if this is loose enough now to do it by hand. There we go. So here's the lifter. Doesn't feel grooved at all. Like, nothing. I don't know if it's showing up at all, but it looks perfect. It's crazy, man. No scuff marks, no nothing. I don't even know if I'm going to take it apart. I might just leave it alone. I want to screw something up. Alright, let me put this. We'll put it right here with the lifters, or the push rods, or whatever. The rock arms. Alright, now let's see. I'm not going to be able to see anything, but I'm going to spray it with some WD-40 there, just to make sure it's cleared out, which I'm like 80% positive it's going to be. So let's go ahead and see what happens here real fast. Alright, well, I tried to prop the camera up so I could film while I was doing it, but I couldn't. So I got it back on now. Lifter's back in. Can't believe how clean that thing was. Now the rest of them aren't falling out like that, so I don't know what the deal is, but I can't imagine they're bad. So I'm pretty comfortable putting this motor in. Alright, next up, flipping the motor right side up and checking out the rocker arms.